Hello, I'm Wright. I'm out here at Bradford Research Center, and this is our drought mitigation study. What we're looking at with this demonstration is we're looking at runoff, water infiltration, basically the effects of cover crops, no-till cropping, and conventional tillage. A nice comparison to all of them. This is a cornfield, typical cornfield. What we have behind me is corn that seems to be a little bit lower than the rest of it. That is our conventional corn. It was all planted at the same time, fertilized at the same time. The only difference was that it has had quite a bit of rain put on it through our irrigation system. All treatments were treated the same. You can see our other areas are taller and they look pretty lush. They're able to hold some more nutrients in the ground instead of running off. When we run this irrigation, we're trying for 4 to 6 inches of rain an hour. We want to do this because really our weather patterns in Missouri are getting to where we have heavy downpours or no rain at all. The role of cover crops help mitigate that quite a bit through either root infiltration or just surface impact. One of the best ways to lose nutrients is to dislodge the soil, that raindrop splash. When the soil is hit with a raindrop, it'll explode it, and when nutrients are bound to that, they are now mobile through being dislodged from the soil. When you have a cover crop or no-till system, that is kind of slowed down quite a bit. No-till system has been a savior to a lot of our soil problems. However, it acts as a sponge, but it doesn't allow it to soak into the ground. When we have average rainfalls, but yet they come in 6 to 12 to 15 inch downpours over the course of a week, it doesn't mean a lot for the crop if it can't hold it in the soil profile. Corn needs about 1/4 inch of rain a day in the profile to maintain growing. Anything less than that is a problem. It starts suffering from drought stress. And as you can see right here with the conventional tillage, it has definitely done some suffering. When we run this irrigation, and these flumes will collect the water, they'll go into a drop bucket, and inside that drop bucket I have a basic bilge pump hooked up to a generator. Once there's so much water in those buckets, it'll kick the pump on, flow the water out through the flow meter. Flow meter will register how much water comes on. We'll also measure from the start, when we start running water, to when the first one starts running off. And then we'll take a water quality measurement, take it back to the lab, look at it for the phosphorus load that's coming off. Then we're going to put fertilizer on here, probably about 60 pounds of nitrogen, 30-30 P&K, and we'll let it sit for a day and allow it to adhere to the soil. And then we'll run it again, collect the water samples, and take them back to the lab and see how much actually runs off. Last year when we did this, the EPA standards were met only by the cover crop system. Even the no-till system was losing enough phosphorus that it was considered a problem with EPA standards. The important role of all this is if we have cover crops out there, it's able to not only mitigate that raindrop splash and keep the soil from being dislodged, but it also builds the soil health in there. Rooting systems that go down and allow water to be absorbed into the soil profile. This is your conventional tillage. You look at it, it has nothing really to protect the soil at this stage from the raindrop splash that we spoke of. You can also see that it's got some cracks in there, which indicate a lack of soil structure. And you can also see pooling. This does not hold the water very well. It quickly seals off and allows the water to run off. So when we have those big storms rolling in, say 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain, it's not able to absorb it. It's able to get it, wash it down with the soil, and that's one of the biggest problems we have with the conventional tillage systems. So this is our typical no-till field. You can see we have plenty of residue left over, which is a really good thing. No-till has been around for quite a while. It's really helped save our soil. If you can think back on what we just saw with the conventional tillage, all of a sudden you don't see pooling. You see a lot of structure around here that can help. You also can look at the soil, what soil's around, and you can see that it's not starting to crack like it was over in the plot right next to us. And that's indicating that there's better soil structure. So this has been a really huge benefit for our soil conservation here in Missouri. But there's just one thing that's lacking with it. All this is residue from last year's crop. And these annual crops don't put in a lot of root mass to go into the soil. And that's the whole thing with soil health that we're looking at. We're looking at the biota below and the protection and biota on top. So now we're in the cover crop area. And as you can see here, we've got a thick mat of cereal rye and we've got some volunteer vetch coming up through here. Now these species with this thick mat will pretty well eliminate any of the soil drop, raindrop splash, but they'll also act as a sponge, absorbing a lot of water on top of the soil. Now, in conjunction with the water being absorbed in the sponge component of a cover crop, these also put in rooting systems down below. So as that sponge as gravity's pulling the water down, it's pulling it into the soil profile, and therefore these plants will be able to hold through drought a lot better than what we saw in the no-till system and also in the conventional tillage. So what we saw with the demonstration is the first one to start running off came out at 2 minutes 45 seconds. That was the conventional tillage. The cover crop started running at 6 minutes 20 seconds, and then followed by the no-till, which is 7 minutes 40 seconds. Put that in perspective of rain, it goes, the conventional tillage started running off at a 1/4 inch rain. Cover crop was about 6/10, and then the no-till was a 7/10. Okay, just to kind of recap what happened. Our first one started running about a 1/4 inch of water, and that's the conventional tillage. That's almost the consistency of a light chocolate milk. Those pumps have a hard time pumping out that much dirt through there, which slows them down quite a bit. This is out of the same type of situation last year, and you can see it's a lot clearer. There's a clay layer down below. That's what's settling up. That's our big problem, is that material that's suspended in there. That's got a lot of nutrients tied to it. The next one that started running was our cover crop. Now it's a lot lighter looking. It's still got some tint to it, but if you look at the one from last year, and it does have a little bit of algae, this is not really soil in here, that's more of a plant material. So a lot of that tint is probably due to plant material coming off, and that's a good thing. And then the no-till. It was last to run off today. It's kind of give or take. Once again, plant material, and it's got the same color water of stuff suspended in there as the cover crops. So this is what you're after, really. The runoff has got a little bit of material in it. This is the cover crop. No-till is very close. The deal with the cover crop is it's going to absorb a lot more into the soil profile. The no-till system does a good job. It's still fairly clean water, but when we start looking at the nutrients of it, you're going to find out that there's still phosphorus tied to the no-till water drainage, and the cover crops, it'll hold it back and keep it in the field. But if you wanted to keep conventional tillage, you can see you're going to lose a lot of soil. And without soil loss, you're losing nutrients. You're also at your loss of money. The nutrients going on are just washing off. They're running down the streams, heading down the Gulf of Mexico. We'd rather keep that nutrient on our fields so our plants can use it.